get into it in this article, but let me bring this up. Do not be shocked if the Portland Fire or Toronto Tempo, if Sophie is not protected, and I don't know what the circumstances of protection is or what it will look like under the CBA. We know they get that may expand, that may condense. I don't know.
Sophie Cunningham posted a highlight reel of her defending Caitlin Clark in a Fever uniform. Caitlin's response, "It's time to run it back." And Sophie's reply tells you everything you need to know about their relationship. "Only if you cuddle and make me dinner twice a week." Now, most people saw that exchange and smiled. Two teammates joking around on social media. But what they're missing is the business reality lurking behind those comments. Because Sophie Cunningham might not have a choice about running it back with Indiana, and neither might the Fever.
Is leaving a lot of questions. Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham, Chloe Bibby probably won't be on this team, although I wish we could figure out how to get Red back on the team. Yeah, I would appreciate that. As always, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you check to see if you're still subscribed. YouTube is still unsubscribing people without their knowledge. I'm getting told this multiple times a day by...
Free agency is frozen. The CBA negotiations are dragging into their 7th week with no resolution in sight. Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham, Chloe Bibby, all of them are in limbo. The Fever can't make offers. Players can't sign contracts. And hovering over all of it are 2 expansion franchises that get to raid every roster in the league: Portland and Toronto. The Golden State Valkyries proved last month that expansion teams will pay top dollar for marketable players. They gave Kate Martin a contract that made veterans across the league do a double take. So here's the question nobody's asking. What happens if Indiana doesn't protect Sophie Cunningham in the expansion draft?
But they have to protect her. If they leave her out there to be drafted, just from a pure marketing and business standpoint, if you're a new franchise, you draft her first thing. Because she's one of the few players in this league that's got a fan base. That's all there is to it. Has her own high profile podcast on the Volume. And she's in on marketing opportunities. She's showing up everywhere.
Google's most searched WNBA athlete in 2025. Not most searched rookie, not most searched role player. Most searched athlete, period. Sophie Cunningham beat out established stars, all-stars, and players who've been in the league for a decade. She's got a podcast on the Volume that's pulling numbers most WNBA media personalities would kill for. She's landing marketing deals. She's showing up in mainstream sports conversations. And she played 1 season in Indiana. Think about what that means for an expansion franchise starting from 0. No history, no fan base, no identity. You get to pick 1 unprotected player from every team in the league. Who do you take from Indiana if Sophie's available?
Just keeping it real. Watched a lot of other teammates just stand around while Sophie trying to scrap. And for some of us, we appreciate that. Where was the rest of y'all? And yeah, y'all all going to keep getting called out until you show that fire. The good news is Indiana doesn't necessarily have to choose when it comes to getting Cunningham or Mitchell. Both players have expressed interest in returning. The Fever front office will have enough.
The protection rules are still being negotiated as part of the CBA. Last expansion draft, teams could protect 6 players. That number might go up to 7 or 8. It might stay at 6. Nobody knows yet. But let's run the math assuming 6 protections for Indiana. Caitlin Clark, protected. Obviously. Aaliyah Boston, franchise cornerstone, protected. Lexi Hull just signed a multi-year extension. She's protected. That's 3. Now you've got 3 spots left, and you're looking at Kelsey Mitchell, who's been with the organization for 7 years and averaged 19 points last season. She's getting protected. Nalissa Smith, former number 2 overall pick, still on her rookie contract, protected. That's 5. 1 spot left, and you've got Sophie Cunningham, Katie Lou Samuelson, Temi Fagbenle, Damiris Dantes, and Erica Wheeler, all in the conversation.
So we're all waiting on that, right? And we found out there could be a scheduling conflict with Project B. My feeling is that gets taken care of and is not really that big a deal. But the one thing that we are concerned about is who the hell is going to be on this team. And I'm talking about the Indiana Fever, right? Been a while since we just talked straight Fever action, but free agents.
Here's where it gets complicated. The league just announced the schedule is expanding from 40 games to a range of 50 to 54 games. That's not a firm number yet. It's somewhere between 6 and 14 additional games, depending on how the CBA shakes out. More games means longer season. Longer season means you need depth. You need veteran players who understand how to manage their bodies over a marathon. Sophie Cunningham is 28 years old. She's been in the league since she knows how to play her role. She doesn't need the ball to impact winning, and she proved in Indiana that she can defend multiple positions. Those are exactly the kind of players you protect when you're adding 10-plus games to the schedule. But she's also exactly the kind of player an expansion team targets, because she brings something you can't teach and can't develop. She brings people through the door.
Supposedly. I don't know. When it comes to YouTube activity, I'm always skeptical of the business side of that. Let's put it that way, because I don't fall into their agendas. Sophie Cunningham's cuddle demand to Caitlin Clark fuels Fever reunion buzz. Say what? Yeah, we'll get to this. Many Indiana Fever fans want nothing more than for their team to bring Sophie Cunningham back in free agency this winter. Whenever the WNBA league office and
YouTube unsubscribing people without their knowledge. Multiple reports every single day of subscribers having to resubscribe 2, 3, 4 times. There's supposedly a glitch in the system, but when you're running a channel that doesn't fall in line with certain agendas, you start to wonder if it's really a glitch or if it's something else entirely. The WNBA has the same problem with its media coverage. Official narratives that don't quite match what people are seeing with their own eyes. Business decisions that get dressed up as basketball decisions, and fans who are tired of being told they're imagining things when the evidence is right in front of them. Sophie Cunningham defending Caitlin Clark on the court. That happened. It's on video. You can watch it. And you can also watch other teammates standing around doing nothing while Sophie's trying to get physical. That contrast matters to fans. It matters to Caitlin, and it should matter to Indiana's front office when they're deciding who to protect.
found out she was Google's most searched WNBA athlete, most searched female athlete in the country in 2025. We did that video. So if you're one of those expansion teams, my gut feeling is you got your eyes on what the Fever do with Sophie Cunningham, and if they leave her unprotected, I'm going to destroy them. I'm just letting you know right now. So, Sophie posted this video of her in
Portland and Toronto are going to be looking at every unprotected player through one lens. Can this person help us sell tickets in year one? They're not building for 5 years down the road. They need to fill arenas immediately. They need local media coverage. They need social media engagement. They need players who casual fans have actually heard of. Sophie Cunningham checks every single one of those boxes. She's got name recognition. She's got a personality that translates to marketing campaigns. She's got an existing fan base that will follow her to a new team. And she's got a podcast platform where she can promote the franchise every single week to built-in audience. If Indiana leaves her unprotected, she's gone. It's that simple. Portland or Toronto takes her in the first round of the expansion draft, probably in the top 3 picks overall, and the Fever lose her for nothing.
And so I think Chloe's playing right now overseas, right? So on this post, Caitlin Clark posted this: "It's time to run it back." And Sophie responds in the only way Sophie could: "Only if you cuddle and make me dinner twice a week." Now, as you can imagine,
Chloe, Bibi is playing overseas right now. She's probably not coming back to Indiana. which is unfortunate because she showed real potential as a defensive wing who can knock down threes. But that's the reality of WNBA roster construction. You can't keep everybody. You have to make choices. The question is whether the Fever are making those choices based on basketball evaluation or based on understanding the business landscape they're operating in. Because basketball evaluation says Sophie Cunningham is a solid role player who provides toughness and shooting. Business evaluation says Sophie Cunningham is a top 5 marketable player in the entire league who happened to play for your team last season. Those are two very different value propositions, and if Indiana's front office is only looking at the basketball side, they're going to make a catastrophic mistake.
I mean, no matter what, when you're dealing with the WNBA, you've got sickos out there. I scroll down, and here is this. Has Caitlin Clark ever cheated on her boyfriend Connor? Guys, I'm not justifying hitting that. Wow. Even the fans. I mean, we found this out. The fans of this league.
The fan reaction to Sophie's social media exchange with Caitlin tells you everything. Thousands of comments. Fever fans begging the team to bring her back. People already designing run it back merchandise. The engagement numbers on that single post probably exceeded most WNBA teams' entire social media output for a week. And of course, because this is the WNBA, you've got people in the comments trying to turn it into something it's not. Has Caitlin Clark ever cheated on her boyfriend Connor? Seriously. Two teammates joking around, and immediately someone's trying to create a narrative. It's exhausting. Believe it or not, there are heterosexual athletes in this league. Granted, there's like 12 of them, but 2 of them played for the Fever last season. The point is, Sophie and Caitlin have genuine chemistry. You can't fake that. You can't manufacture it through PR campaigns. It's either there or it's not. And when you find it, you protect it.
They're ate up with agenda. Always got to make something, of course. You see that. They want to make this into a Sophie and Caitlin. They're clowning around with each other. All right? This is no Sophie and Caitlin sitting in a tree situation. All right? I mean, believe it or not, there are heterosexual athletes in this league. Granted, there's like 12 of them, but nonetheless, 2 of them played for the Fever.
5 or 6 protected players. That's the number being discussed. The exact figure is still being negotiated, but it's somewhere in that range. And here's what makes this decision so difficult for Indiana. Every player they protect is a player they're committing to building around for the next 3 to 5 years. You protect Caitlin Clark because she's a generational talent who's going to define your franchise for the next decade. You protect Aaliyah Boston because she's a 22-year-old all-star center who's already one of the best defensive players in the league. You protect Lexi Hall because you just gave her a contract extension and she's developing into exactly the kind of 3-and-D wing that complements Caitlin perfectly. Those are easy decisions. The next 3 are harder, and the difference between protecting Sophie Cunningham or leaving her exposed could determine whether Indiana is a championship contender or just another team that wasted a generational talent's prime years.
I will be very disappointed if Sophie Cunningham is not on this team. I can tell you that right now. I can't remember exactly how many they can protect. I think it's 6. It's 5 or 6. So, Rhodes, you're supposed to know that, really? I mean, no. I've made videos on it. I think it's 5 or 6, but I'm not going to look it up because I just brought it up impromptu. Tell me what you think. Sophie and Caitlin, I feel like have to run it back. Peace them out.
Here's what makes this situation so significant. The Fever aren't just trying to run back a team that made the playoffs, they're trying to capitalize on a cultural moment that might never happen again. Caitlin Clark's rookie season brought millions of new fans to the WNBA. Attendance records fell, television ratings doubled and tripled. The Fever went from being an afterthought to being the most watched team in the league. But cultural moments are fragile. You can't assume those fans are going to stick around if the product on the court doesn't deliver. You can't assume they're going to keep buying tickets if the team regresses. You can't assume they're going to keep watching if the roster gets worse instead of better. Sophie Cunningham is part of what made last season work. She's part of the identity that resonated with fans. And if Indiana lets her walk away for nothing because they didn't protect her in the expansion draft, they're going to have to explain that decision to a fan base that's already skeptical of how the organization operates. The dark side comment. Remember that? When a prominent WNBA figure referred to Caitlin Clark's fans as the dark side because they dared to be excited about a player who didn't fit the league's preferred narrative. That comment revealed something important about how certain people in WNBA circles view the fan base that's actually paying attention and spending money. Sophie Cunningham never treated Fever fans like they were the enemy. She embraced them. She engaged with them on social media. She defended their favorite player on the court when other teammates were standing around watching. That matters. It matters to fans, and it should matter to the front office. Now think about the position this puts Caitlin Clark in. She's already dealing with the pressure of being the face of the franchise, the face of the league's growth, and the target of every defense she faces. The last thing she needs is to watch the front office make decisions that signal they don't understand what they have or how to protect it. If Sophie Cunningham gets taken in the expansion draft because Indiana didn't protect her, what message does that send? It says the front office either doesn't value the chemistry that was building, or they don't understand the business side of professional sports. Either way, it's a problem. And here's the thing about beat reporters and media coverage, they're going to ask Caitlin about it. They're going to ask her how she feels about Sophie leaving. They're going to ask if the team is better or worse without her. And Caitlin's going to have to navigate those questions diplomatically, while probably thinking the front office screwed up. Watch that initial interaction between Sophie and Caitlin on social media. Again, it's time to run it back. That's not a casual comment. That's Caitlin publicly stating what she wants to happen. She's not calling out the front office directly, but she's making it clear that she values Sophie as a teammate and wants her back. Now compare that to how other Fever players have handled their free agency situations. Radio silent, no public comments, no social media engagement, just waiting for the CBA to get resolved so they can see what offers come in. The contrast is notable. Sophie Cunningham responded to Caitlin's comment within hours, not days, not weeks, hours. And her response, while playful, signals that she wants to be back in Indiana too. Only if you cuddle and make me dinner twice a week. That's someone who's comfortable with her teammate, who enjoyed playing in that environment, and who's open to returning. The question becomes, is Indiana going to make it happen? Are they going to protect her in the expansion draft? Are they going to offer her a contract that reflects her value both on and off the court? Or are they going to let her slip away because they're too focused on traditional basketball metrics and not focused enough on what actually drives success in modern professional sports? What makes this particularly awkward is the timing. The CBA negotiations are dragging on because the players want a bigger share of revenue. They want higher salaries. They want better benefits, all of which is completely reasonable given how much the league's revenue has grown over the past year. But here's the uncomfortable reality. A huge portion of that revenue growth is directly tied to Caitlin Clark. The television deals got bigger because networks wanted Fever games. Attendance spiked because people wanted to see Caitlin play. Merchandise sales exploded because casual fans bought her jersey. So when Sophie Cunningham goes into contract negotiations, she can point to her connection with Caitlin as part of her value proposition. She can say, I'm not just a role player who averaged 7 points a game. I'm someone who has chemistry with your franchise player, who your fan base loves, and who brings marketing value beyond the box score. Indiana's going to have to decide if they agree with that assessment. And if they don't, if they try to lowball her or leave her unprotected, they're going to find out real quick what happens when you undervalue players who connect with your fan base. This dynamic is going to continue throughout the league as the CBA negotiations wrap up and free agency finally opens. Teams are going to have to navigate the gap between traditional player evaluation and modern sports business reality. The franchises that figure it out are going to build sustainable winners. The ones that don't are going to waste opportunities and wonder why their fan bases are frustrated. Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark running it back in Indiana makes sense from every angle. Basketball fit, Sophie's a veteran role player who knows her role and doesn't need shots. Chemistry, they clearly enjoy playing together and have built a genuine connection. Marketing, they're two of the most engaging personalities in the league. Fan base, Fever fans are literally begging for this to happen. So the question becomes, Was breaking up that combination worth it? If Indiana lets Sophie walk, what did they gain? A slightly cheaper contract, an extra roster spot for a player who might not provide the same value. The ability to say they made the smart basketball decision while ignoring every other factor that matters. I don't think so. I think if the Fever let Sophie Cunningham leave, either through the expansion draft or through free agency, they're making a mistake they're going to regret. And I think Caitlin Clark knows it, which is why she posted, "It's time to run it back" in the first place. So here's what I want to know. Do you trust Indiana's front office to make the right decision here? Do you think they understand what they have with Sophie Cunningham? And if they let her go, do you think Caitlin's going to be happy about it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit subscribe if you want more honest WNBA coverage. And let me know if you think Sophie and Caitlin are actually running it back next season.